folks, and welcome to Subjective Thoughts. And our comic for today is Space Pirate Captain Harlock, Issue 1 by a Blaze. Now, there is fighting, killing, shooting, aliens, and destruction in this one. So, if you are in any way squeamish, you have been warned. Also, spoilers. Alright, here's the team. So, this is not new. This series came out in 2021, and there's one of those that I've bought all of the issues, but of course didn't start reading them at the time. So it was buried until I finally now have all the issues in one place, and I've started today finally getting into the series and read the first issue. Well, some of you watch my channel might know, I love Captain Harlock. I've read the original mangas, and then I've also, as this year, read as a newer manga series. I read the first volume. So back when I saw this, I was like, oh my god, more Captain Harlock. I must subscribe to this one. So I did. Now, it's not a long series, six issues, but it is written by Mr. Leiji Matsumoto. Which I admit I don't know much about him, how old he is, and things like that. But it's cool that they got him on board to write this one. But the artist is, someone else did the art. Okay, so we start with the prologue, and it tells a bit about Captain Harlock, for those who might not know Captain Harlock. A little bit. Gives a bit of information. Captain Harlock is writing in a diary to his dear friend. A friend who his soul might be in the engine of the Arcadia, Captain Harlock's ship. So he tells him, so yeah, again, it's just like a base telling of what happened in the manga. You know, the how's the Earth, why it's in such a state, how are things now. He tells him about Tadashi and Tadashi Daiba. And everything that if you've read the manga, you know all this stuff. Yeah, basically, it tells you all the needed information. Then, then we go on to the Captain Harlock's being called. Ship is coming near Earth. So Captain Harlock goes. The lady, what was her, Kiko or Keiki? I forgot how to pronounce her name. But yeah, she's most actively the few of the female crew members he has. Together with Tadashi Daiba and his first mate, they go onto the supply ship and they take all the food and some alcohol and then they dump the rest. Now, as something they added here is that now Captain Harlock's dear friend has a daughter. A daughter that Captain Harlock is like her guardian. She lives down on Earth, and he wants to make his friend's wish come true that she grows up on Earth. So he's going to do everything he can to save Earth. Oh, also, it tells about the Mazon, the alien race that wants to take over Earth. Because at the beginning they were on Earth, but then they left. So now they want to come back and colonize it again. Which, because the government is dumb, lazy, and I guess you could say hedonistic too. They're not gonna do fucking shit about it. So it's up to Harlock and his crew to do all the heavy lifting. So yes, they take they go in, and then it's mentioned that there's warm clothes in the in what the ship was carrying. And to that, she makes a comment on how the weather has been a lot more colder recently. Then we go down to Earth, where we see the little girl, his friend's daughter. Let me tell you her name. So for certain already forgotten how to pronounce it. One moment, please. Where is it? What was her name? Oh, come on. Mayu. Her name's Mayu. She's, I don't know, I'd say she's about maybe 10. It's hard to tell, honestly, but I think she's around 10, maybe. She plays this little, sort of interesting round flute. Yeah, a Mayu. The sort of flute. It's heavily snowing. And she tells Harlock, isn't it? Some kids, some boys are picking on her. Well, one of them is. Then the others say, hey, don't you know that her guardian's Captain Harlock? And he's like, Harlock's not gonna come here. He's wanted. Because in the prologue, you see she's holding one of Captain Harlock's wanted posters. And there's wanted posters for more of his crew. So yes, as they're talking about the snow, Captain Harlock looks and he thinks, this isn't natural snow. He has a feeling something stinks here. This isn't natural. And he asks her, you warm as well? She said, yeah, your female crew gave me this warm clothing. Then we move on to oh shit, what was it? Then we move on to the Antarctic. Some meteorologist is being brought to a weather station that's in Antarctica. And as he's being flied towards it, he's looking at Tadashi Daiba's father's last message. He began recording a message for the other scientists to tell them about all this, and before he could finish, he was killed by the Mazon. Because there are Mazon, and the queen of them, La Farissa, I still don't know how to pronounce it correctly. She sent a black sphere to Earth that awakened them. And so now they're helping the colonization by, moving the stuff along. Like the minister of Earth now is essentially a secretary's Amazon. Of course, he's not going to figure it out. He's a fucking idiot. But, yes. So he's been brought to this weather station because they found something there. And of course, none of them believed in the Amazon until Tadashi's father's message and research. And the researcher asks, the researcher tells him, we're so happy you can make it, Professor. He said, all right, but why did you invite me? I'm meteorologist. And I said, well, we have something here we need to show you. And then there's a female assistant that the guy has. She's looking interesting. I thought at first she might be Amazon, but not sure. So he leads the professor into a cave, and as they go deeper, there are a frozen Amazon. But not entirely, like what looks like a statue, but those are women. And the researcher tells him, when we tried to unfreeze one, she just evaporated, turned to dust, like what happens when a Amazon is killed. But the thing is here, they are plant-based aliens, if you could say it like that. So I don't know how the fuck they would even function in a place like that. Because plants can grow in extreme cold. Like that kind of cold. At least not that I know of. Maybe there have been plants that were discovered in Antarctica, but for the most part, I imagine nothing can grow in such a cold such a cold area. Like, it's too cold. Needs some sun and soil on top of that. So I don't know. Maybe these aren't exactly regular Mazone. I just don't imagine they would have. Anyway, he takes him. Yeah, well, we didn't believe this all until we saw this, but wait, there's more. And he leads them further into a cave, and they go into this. They're basically in the epicenter of whatever's causing the cold phenomenon on Earth, causing everything to be so cold, all the snows. And inside there's a woman who looks very much Mazone inside inside the ice. She's encased in ice. Now again, she kind of looks like a Mazone, but is she? Again, it's really fucking cold. So the researcher guy leads the professor. There are two stone tablets, and he asks him, can you, as a meteorologist, I don't know how he reads what's written there. Anyway, he's asking, can you read this and tell me what it says? And he says, yes. So this Mazone, or this alien Mazone lady, was left here, from like the beginning of time, basically. She was here even before humans. And he's like, okay, but what is she? But before he can read the other slab and tell him, the structure begins to shake again. Another sort of earthquake or something like that. And then the professor tells him, quick, grab the slab and get out of here. Tell people what this is. Go. So he runs out. Everyone's leaving. They're like, come on. And they say, wait, where's my assistant? But she's nowhere to be seen. But she is back in the cave, and she points a gun at the professor, and she's like, finally, alone at last. And he's like, now tell me what the slab says. Because he read it, and he said no. And she said, read to me what this is, and I'll stop this Mazone alien waking up. And so he does, and she says, thank you, and then she shoots at the ice to free the Mazone. And then there's like this explosion, you see the helicopter flying away with the researcher and everyone. I wonder if they made it. Yeah, and then you see like everything exploded. There's a big explosion, you got ice everywhere. You got the poor professor, it looks like he's been turned into an ice sculpture. I'm not sure if he's alive. He's like fully encased in ice and holding the second tablet. I don't know if he's alive though. It's difficult to tell. But then you see the big ice lady, a zone ice lady, and then you see that researcher lady, the assistant. Let me tell you her name. What was her name? What was her name? She's got red eyes too, which is interesting. Yeah, there they see her. Okay, wait, what was her name? Talkia. Talika. Maybe Talika is more correct. Yeah, maybe Talika. So then you got this ice Mazone thing. Again, features very much like a Mazone, but okay, so she may not be a Mazone, this Talika, but she's certainly not human. Because she knows the queen of the Mazone La Farissa. And she wants to take revenge on her for some reason. Which, freezing up the planet will do that. Because again, the Mazone are plant-based aliens. I don't think they're going to survive this cold very well. They need a different climate. But who is she and why, and what has La Farissa done to her is a different question. But anyway, she's gonna need this ice Mazon alien lady to freeze the earth. And she promises her that in exchange she'll help her retrieve the ones she lost. So again, the question: who did she lose, and how she's going to help her? But anyway, it looks like this Mazon, not Mazon Ice Lady, is now going to help Talika, whoever she may be. And that is it. That's where the issue ends. To be continued. Okay, first cover. This cover is amazing. Look at it. Captain Harlock looks absolutely awesome here. I love this sword. Look at that detail. And his pet bird, which I think used to belong, if I remember correctly, belonged to his best friend. But he looks fucking cool here in this art style. Okay, so let me show you some art. Look at Captain Harlock. So this is the art style. It's still got, the look of the manga, but different, of course. There you see is like the prologue telling the history. There's Queen Lafarissa, there's the Mazon. I think I can show you one more page. It has been a few years. I just want to show you the. Here we go. This is the daughter. That's her. That's Mayu. You see, this is his team. See, I still got that style, but it's like it doesn't have those it doesn't have the manga humor in it exactly. At least not in this issue. And not those exaggerated expressions and all of that. So yeah, it just tells you the brief history of what happened. But yeah, great art style for this, especially since it's so similar to the manga. So it looks great. Good colors as well. All right, so this was good. Good first issue. I like how they wrote a prologue, so even if you've never read Captain Harlock, they explain to you the gist, like the what has been thus far, which I think is awesome. And it also helps even if you have read all the mangas. It's a nice little refresher on what happened, and an intriguing first issue. And finally, maybe there'll be a fight between the Mazon and Captain Harlock. And this, by the way, spoilers for the original manga, so maybe skip a few minutes ahead, like 2 or 3. In the original manga, it does like Captain Harlock and his crew are going to fight them, but no fight happens. It's just it kind of just ends there. Which when I first heard, I was like, wait, what? That's it? I was like, wait, where's the fight? Why is there no fight? I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still an awesome manga to read, but it's like, oh no, they're not gonna fight. I don't know if in the newer manga series they do fight. I still need to get the rest of those volumes one of these days. But maybe here we'll finally have a fight. That would be cool. And that's one of the bombers of the original that it never went to the actual fight with the Mazon. But regardless, Captain Harlock is a cool and mysterious character. Yeah, I really love him. And this has just been really fucking awesome. Oh, I'm happy I picked this one up back then. We'll see how the story goes, but I can't complain on getting more Captain Harlock. Always happy to read some more. And interesting that they decided to expand more on his friend and give him a daughter. I guess kind of give Captain Harlock, I suppose, another reason to fight for Earth. Because he promised his friend that his daughter will be able to grow up there. So yeah, left to be seen what's in store in issue 2. We'll find out who this Talika is and what she wants. What bone does she have to pick with Queen Lafarissa? And is she also some kind of alien? I would imagine, but who knows? Alright, folks, so that is it. That was issue 1 of Space Pirate Captain Harlock, the comic series. If you're an old Captain Harlock fan, I'd recommend giving at least the first issue a shot. I think you'll like it. And if you're, if you're new, also check it out. It gives you again enough of the details, so you'll be able to follow along the story. I'm just happy to finally get on this one. All right, so that is it, folks. Remember, collect what you're passionate about. Share it on YouTube. Bye.